I remember when they told me there was nothing for me, no hopes to keep on dreaming, and I was way past 30. I sat in my room and I began to cry, then caught myself again, said I would upgrade my life. I'm gonna upgrade my life. I'm gonna upgrade my life. Could never do it without my tribe. I'm gonna upgrade my life. Welcome to the Dr. D Inspire Upgrade My Life and Biz podcast, where we give you tools and tips to reach personal and professional goals.
Dr. Allana Da Graca here, president of Turning on the Lights Global Institute. Today is October 3rd, 2023, and I want to welcome you to this podcast. And I want to welcome you if you're watching me right here on YouTube. But wherever you're streaming in from, I always want you to feel like every time you are able to tap into the UPML podcast, you're able to have what I call a spark moment and you're able to get a spark lesson. Today, our title is called The Power of Entrepreneurship, Creating Additional Income in 3 Transformative Ways. Now, look, in today's fast-paced world, the desire for financial stability and freedom is a shared goal for many people. Fortunately, entrepreneurship provides a unique pathway to create additional income and achieve the financial security that a lot of people long for. In this podcast, we'll explore 3 compelling reasons why people can use entrepreneurship to create additional income and transform their lives in the process. Now, I know if you've heard my story, you know that I spent 15 years waiting for everything to be perfect until everything was challenged. When you have a moment when you are either let go from work or trauma happens, or maybe an opportunity that you were hoping for, a promotion doesn't happen, it shifts things, doesn't it? And then you have a decision to make as you experience those moments. You can either decide, number one, you're going to accept it. You can either decide, number two, you're going to do something about it. And number three, you can decide to shift your mindset. So in the early days of becoming an entrepreneur, I really had to deal with the fact of, A, forgiving myself for waiting so long, and B, taking enough drastic action. But I also recognize that sometimes we may feel overwhelmed at what it actually means to be an entrepreneur, because an entrepreneur is the kind of person that understands that there will be grit, that there will be moments when you're walking down a yellow brick road, as Dorothy did, and you are going to have moments where you feel fearful. You'll have moments where you're like, I'm not sure if this is going to work. I'm taking a risk. I don't know how it's going to be, but I'm willing to jump. So you have all those mind moments already that you have to get over. And we're not even talking about getting over the naysayers and people who've been watching you all day long, and they're not necessarily helping you, but um, they're not necessarily not helping you, but they're not necessarily helping you. So they're somewhere in between. And when you're trying to do something different, indifference is not your friend. So today, I hope you get some nuggets of wisdom as you think about your next. Not only that, but so many people are struggling financially. And I was watching a TikTok post some weeks back, and this young lady was talking about how concerned she was because the economy was, causing a shift, and she was worried, and she was just so consumed with, the fact that she wasn't really making what she wanted to, and also what would happen if no one had any income. And I said, well, we survived the Great Depression. Of course, there are times when we have gone through dips in our society, like 2008 and the crash, but we still have to have enough hope to think there's something I can do on my end to at least contribute to my own personal growth. So let's talk about my first point, creating the ability to lead a debt-free lifestyle. So look, debt can place a heavy burden on us. It can limit our choices. It can add to stress. And entrepreneurship opens doors to find financial independence and the ability to lead a debt-free lifestyle. I remember having to pay so much back in debt. And I remember how I said, there's no way we're going to pay off thousands and thousands of debt. How am I going to do that? I'm working 2 part-time jobs. I'm trying to start this company, but I just decided, you know what, no matter what it's going to take, I am going to press forward. And even if I have to do it in increments, I'm going to do that. So Hubster and I had to make a serious decision. Okay, we're going to look at our debt and we're going to every single month figure out what we need to allocate for these items to be taken care of. And so when we're thinking about it, you have to get really serious about what you say you want, right? A lot of us want and desire things. A lot of us desire to wake up and just everything feels perfect, but that's just not life. And we're going to go through obstacles and hurdles, and we have to be able to, number one, I say, tackle what feels like a mess. So I remember when we were coming back from living abroad and just how heavy the burden was. I was like, okay, Allana, you're going to have to think this through. You're going to have to think through, okay, one day or one step at a time. And so entrepreneurship allows you to take control of your financial situation, even if it feels chaotic. Starting a business gives you the opportunity to organize your finances and create a sustainable stream of income. And so around that time, when I was deciding to really, okay, tackle this, I highly recommend, and they are not telling me to tell you this, but I highly recommend that you go to Freedom Debt because they have great programs. They're credible, and they are able to help you, sit down and categorize your debt and organize how they're going to support you in the payment structure. And when you consider to enroll in programs like that, you will feel so much lighter. Like, it was great to have a counselor sit down and talk me through all the different things that I needed to take care of. Then, number two, when you're really able to kind of take hold of the fact that you can become an entrepreneur and stay as an entrepreneur, you're going to have more peace, because entrepreneurship can lead to a more peaceful life from the constant worry about money. Here's how it can bring peace. First, you'll have more sense of control. It requires a lot of hard work and dedication, but you will feel like, you know what? I know, especially once you get your first and second and third client, you'll feel like, okay, so this is a grind, yes, but if I'm consistent, people will want what I have to offer, right? And so I highly recommend it. And not only that, but it can offer you a sense of inner peace and inner accomplishment. Like, I remember the first 2 clients that I received, I was so grateful for those clients. I was so happy. And that's why I tell all my clients, no matter if you get one client and it's $100 sale or whatever it is, whatever industry you're in, make sure you celebrate every single sale. That's why it's always great when you go to those little bodegas in the inner city and you see the person with that $1 or the first sale that they made right on their wall, because they understand the grind that it took for them to get there. And then also, I'm going to challenge you with this next note. I want you to sacrifice what I call the 30-hour comfort. See, the average person typically still has about 5 hours when they get home, right? So if we take that on average and say you worked a 6-day work week, I mean, let's say you work even on Saturdays. My question is, what are you doing with those 5 hours you have remaining when you get home every single day? We know we want to Netflix and chill. We know we want to sit back, but actually you could even take a fraction of that and use that to really build your business. It's true. I had to sit down and say, how can I use my time more effectively? Even if you work a full-time job, we tend to still have a lot of time. And so it then becomes, how can you prioritize your wellness, the things that you're doing so that you can actually have this additional stream of income, because you never know when a rainy day is going to come. And so I'm going to challenge all of us to break free from financial constraints by stepping out of our comfort zone. Sacrificing the habit of comfort for the pursuit of your entrepreneurial dreams can be challenging, but it can also be ultimately rewarding. And so, after having that rhythm of getting those clients, there was a freedom. I remember one time when I was so happy and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm able to go and make these purchases from the hard work and labor that I spent helping others. There's nothing more joyous than that, to know that there was at one point no additional stream of income, and now you have this additional stream of income. And so now you can take care of a bill. Now you can take care of maybe a desire or a want that you have. And so I highly recommend it, highly recommend it. And then, of course, we can live on less. Entrepreneurship encourages you to live on a budget while you build your business. This disciplined approach to spending can lead to a simpler, less cluttered life and a sense of tranquility. So I know if we are thinking about entrepreneurship, I'm specifically speaking today to new entrepreneurs. Get your business banking together. Separate your personal expenses from your business expenses so that you can see the little compound. You'll be so happy when you can actually see it work. I had a client before that she was just so busy. And so she started this wonderful business, but she never separated her expenses. So even though she made close to $1,000 as a new entrepreneur, which we were so proud of, she didn't get the chance to see the reward of it, the full reward of it in her separate business account. And so it just automatically, came out with everything else. And I said, how did you feel when you finally made your revenue? And she said, well, I would have felt something if I could have seen it. And really, she was like, I had all my other bills coming out, so I didn't get to see it. There's something special about taking a moment and looking at what your hard work has earned you. So I highly recommend not only to take your entrepreneurship seriously, but go and meet with your financial advisor. Go to your local bank, right? Talk to them about how you can make sure you separate your personal and your business finances. And remember, it's okay to ask for help. Like, I don't know why sometimes we think we're supposed to know everything, but the longer I've been in entrepreneurship, the more I realize, oh no, you need other people to help you. Actually, that probably would have saved me a lot more time if I really said to myself, okay, you need help here, you need help there, you need help with this. And it is true. Sometimes when we realize that we want to do something, we might also realize that we do need support. And just the thought of saying, I need help, can be so overwhelming. Now, in my tribe, we did something this past week, which I thought was monumental. And we had our clients go through a scorecard assessment. And it was funny, they had to rate themselves on different areas of what their lives are like as entrepreneurs. And then there were some people who looked at their scores and they didn't feel happy. And some were like, okay, I'm doing all right. And at the end of the day, I said, this scorecard is not a report card. And it's hard sometimes for a lot of really high performing people to live this entrepreneurial life because there's so many highs and lows. It's not like going to school to graduate. This is completely different. So you have to be patient and realize that your journey is your journey. And so one of the notes that I was making with my tribe was, we really can't compare our wins with someone else's. We can't say, oh my goodness, look at how successful you were this year and I haven't done anything, because your success level or barometer might be different from mine. You might love your full-time job and might feel the need to just give back, or you might love your full-time job but just want to do something out of passion, and revenue is not as important, but you still want to feel like you're making a difference. So you might decide, hey, throughout a given year, I'm just going to help, 3 people, and I'm going to be great with that. But someone else might have a bigger capacity and might have much more of a motivation to support hundreds of people. So their journey to success is completely different. But either way, the beautiful part about the entrepreneurial journey is that you can make it your journey and you can decide how you want success to look. Now, I always share this poem because it always brings me back to the core. And it's called Chronicles, and it simply says, Hidden gems of my truth, 15 years of writing, 15 years of silence, my Dracula. I was shattered, overwhelmed, hidden, a familiar place to be, recreated stagnant peach, holding the vase of resentment, depression for the blooms, colloquial dialogue, and no transparency. I was staring into my well, missing my dreamer. I mean, it's really a poem about resentment and regret from my book, Chronicles of a Poet. And I always think about that. Sometimes when it gets difficult, sometimes when I'm like, oh, I'm too tired. But I think about that and I think, as an entrepreneur, I get to live out my dream. I get to do what you see me doing, which brings me the most joy. Um, so great. So let's move on to the next point because now I'm going off a little bit. But I want you to also change how you speak about yourself, about your worthiness, and about your worth. Because to me, you already have abundance all around you. Yesterday, when I went to the park, I was looking at these trees and I saw all the leaves and I just saw them moving and they were so beautiful. And I thought to myself, these leaves are flourishing. Like anytime I need to be reminded that I have access to abundance and wealth, I just need to go to nature because it's blooming. The birds are flying, they're chirping. The ocean is just rippling, but still peaceful. So I want you to know that entrepreneurship not only provides you with additional income, but it also enables you to feel abundant regardless of your current financial situation. I want you to know, like I always tell my tribe, you're beautiful, you're valuable, and nothing about you is a mistake. You are 5-star, but you can't charge 5-star if you don't feel a 5-star. So we got to deal with the confidence aspect. I want you to think about having what Lisa Nichols calls an abundant mindset, right? As an entrepreneur, you'll learn to adopt an abundance mindset instead of dwelling on scarcity. You'll focus on opportunities and see the possibilities instead of seeing it as, oh my goodness, look at all the problems. So the things that irk you the most, the things that get on your nerves, those could be areas where you offer solutions. And we have to think about what we say. Even if you have negative $10 in your bank account, don't say I'm broke. Yes, you got to look at the numbers, but say, oh my goodness, this is an opportunity for me to really focus on what I can do to bring in additional stream of income. You have so many ideas. You have so much potential. There are things that you probably do naturally that other people can't do. So keep that in mind. And then I want you to realize that you have an opportunity to embrace wealth building strategies. So, entrepreneurship empowers you to embrace wealth building strategies that can secure your financial future. Strategies like investing, strategies like thinking about your savings, strategies like thinking about making financial decisions that are going to help you. You can accumulate wealth and feel abundant. So, some of these strategies, right? We talk about this in my Upgrade My Life and Biz Challenge, which we're about to have on October 28th. And I do want you to come because sometimes when we're overwhelmed with the worry about making a financial upgrade, we can't think and see anything other than what we're experiencing. And sometimes we're just thinking, well, I just need to find X, Y, and Z. And sometimes we're looking for a job and it's taking us a long time to find a job. So what are you going to do in the midst of that? Right. So side hustles are great because it gives you some control. And yes, nobody's coming to your door and to go to your basement to find your solution. So that means you're going to have to use a strategy to get seen and heard. That means you're going to have to think about how can I show up on the digital platforms to showcase my skills and my competencies? What am I willing to do? Am I willing to create a digital portfolio to show what I've done over the years? Mind you, while you're doing all this stuff, sometimes it's difficult because nobody's paying you to do those things. Nobody's paying you to get yourself and your portfolio and all the things that you need to show people who you are. Nobody's paying you at the onset for that. But when you set up your foundation, yes, Now you have built your authority. People are saying, oh my goodness, look at your skill sets. I was able to find it. And you're taking time to do that upgrade. So I want to challenge you. If you know that you need to do something different before 2024, come to my 1 day boot camp. Now, the 1 day boot camp is a 4 hour experience where we're going to go in. We're going to cover things like how you can create that mental shift that you really need. We're going to create things like thinking about how you can clear the clutter from both a technical standpoint, from an opt-in standpoint, and from just a you standpoint. How can you clear the clutter? We're going to talk about simple tech hacks that you can use to grow your boss. And then lastly, you're going to be in a great environment with other entrepreneurs who are really looking to soar in their goals the way that you are. And I can tell you, there's something so special about having accountability with others. And there's something so special when you feel like you want to give up and then someone sees you, because we don't believe in my tribe that you should be a dot in a Zoom room, but when someone sees you and can acknowledge maybe your challenge or your struggle, but can also still see objectively how much value you would bring if you were able to bring your solution. Oh, that's amazing. And that's what people love about my tribe, is that they feel like they are just part of this boss community where they feel supported. And sometimes you just need to shift your environment. So wrapping up, let's just go over some of these highlights again. Number one, remember, you can create the ability to lead a debt-free lifestyle. Number two, when you are an entrepreneur, you are able to then create more sustainable ways to make income, which will add to your peace. Number three, there's something so beautiful about feeling abundant. And thank you so much for tuning in to the Upgrade My Life and Biz podcast. Wow. I really want to encourage you to attend the Upgrade My Life and Biz 1 day boot camp and go ahead to tolgispark.com/events and register for your free ticket today. Look, we're going to be giving away prizes. We're going to be introducing you to other Eagles, and we want to see you win. So I can't wait to see you there. Take care. Bye-bye.